Hello and welcome again to our 3-month devotion. We're reading this book, Give Us This Day Our Daily Good News, and it's by A.T Jones and E.J. Waggoner. For the past 2 days, we've learned about the grace of God and how it's easy to do what is right. The first day it was about burdens are lifted by glorious good news. The second day was why do we think it is so hard? And why do we think it is so hard to do what is right? And we learned that Jesus was born also in the flesh and had the same struggles that we do have, wanting to do right, and sometimes we kind of fail. But it was easy for him to do what was right because he trusted in his Father, that anything he did was from the Father because the Father was dwelling in him. And so if we have Christ in us, the same thing will be with us. It will be easy for us to do what is right and to live a righteous life. Day 3, we're talking about everything that Christ had, you have. And the memory verse is Colossians 2, verse 8 to 10. And it says, "Beware lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of men, according to the basic principles of the world, and not according to Christ. For in him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and you are complete in him, who is the head of all principality and power." That is Colossians 2, verse 8 to 10. In him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and he strengthens you with might by his Spirit in the inner man, that Christ may dwell in your heart by faith, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. True, Christ partook of the divine nature, and so do you if you are a child of promise and not of the flesh. By the promises, you are partakers of the divine nature. There was nothing given to him in this world, and he had nothing in this world that is not freely given to you, or that you may not have. All this is in order that you may walk in newness of life, that henceforth you may not serve sin, that you may be a servant of righteousness only, that you may be freed from sin, that sin may not have dominion over you, that you may glorify God on the earth, and that you may be like Jesus. I would like to repeat this. There was nothing given to him in this world, and he had nothing in this world that is not freely given to you. And again, it's talking about if you're a child of promise, you're not living by flesh, but by the Spirit that dwells in you, then everything that he had, you have. Okay? And so all this is in order that you may walk in newness of life, that henceforth you may not serve sin, that you may be the servant of righteousness only, that you may be freed from sin, that sin may not have dominion over you, that you may glorify God on the earth, and that you may be like Jesus. Ultimately, be like Jesus. Therefore, to each one of us, grace was given according to the measure of Christ's gift, till we all come to the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of God, to a perfect man, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. And that is in Ephesians 4, verse 7 to 13. And I plead with you not to receive the grace of God in vain. I think that's Paul in 2 Corinthians 6, verse 1. Wow. I love this today's devotion because it's really so encouraging. All these promises that when we partake of the divine nature that Christ did partake of his Father, when we're born again in the Spirit, that Christ is now dwelling in us, the order that I read to you that will lead you to be like Jesus, to have a Christ-like nature, is given to you. And all this tool, this specific, it's just one tool, having Christ in you, which is the hope of glory and the hope of having a righteous life. I really hope you're encouraged by today's devotion, and I pray that you continue to think about the words and the promises that are there for us, that we have power in Jesus, and we only have to tap into it for us to live a Christ-like life. May you be blessed, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 4 of this 3-month series by A.T Jones and E.J. Waggoner. See you soon. Bye.